everyone, welcome to Tech Woman Talk. It's the last of our Women's Month special, and I'm Bonny Pedra. We're streaming from our Experience Centre in Johannesburg using our SM7B microphones with our onstage boom arms. We're recording with our Zoom Q2N 4K cameras and our Tascam Model 12. Today we have a very special guest with us, somebody that I've known for quite a while already in our industry. Today we have the solutions consultant at AudioNote, Mariann Crosswell. Thank you for joining us, Mariann.
Thank you for having me.
Mariann, paint me a picture of you at 12 years old. What were you like, and what did you think that you would grow up to do?
Well, I think I've always been a happy-go-lucky, just trying to enjoy life. And at that stage, I thought I was going to be a musician.
A musician?
Yes.
Very different?
Yes. Very different. And yeah, that's what I was.
That's what you were aspiring to be?
Yes. My whole life was music, and I really thought I was going to end up doing that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So how did you land up where you are today?
Well, I met a man named Tom Crosswell.
Right, the infamous.
Yes. I was actually singing on a stage, and he was doing sound.
Jeez.
And that's how we met. And and the rest is history.
That was a long time ago, hey?
32 years.
Jeez, that's fantastic. Tell us about the time you ran your own business, or at least one or two of them.
Well, Tom and I have run two businesses together, and it's the second business that led to where we are today.
Okay.
And we started off very small. It was literally him, me, and the dogs. And that was it. And then things grew. We eventually had a secretary.
Oh.
So it was us and the secretary.
Nice.
And then we met a certain bunch of people.
Right.
We met Roger, and in those days was Music Mate. We teamed up because we realized they had foot. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do it again. Just tell me when to start again. Oh, okay, all right. We realized they had feet through the doors, but on the AV side, they were getting a lot of questions and a lot of requests from people.
Okay.
But they could not fulfill them because their guys were musicians. They didn't understand.
Like, what are you asking for?
Audio visual, yes. And we did.
Okay.
So, but we were a small business, so we didn't have the feet through the doors.
Right.
So it was a logical match for us, and that's how we landed up joining up with Music Mate, and then things progressed from there. And now today we are a part of a bigger group, and we are AudioNote.
Fantastic. So tell me what your job in AudioNote actually entails.
Well, if you want to put it in layman's terms, sales. But I like to see myself as a solution consultant.
Yes, I think more than just a salesperson. You're not
yes.
just sitting there sort of taking orders. You're actually fully involved
Yes,
throughout, from beginning of project to handover.
correct. So my biggest delight in the world is to find a solution for somebody's problem. So that's what I do.
And we have all the technology in the world to help, right?
Yes, exactly. If you've got the money, I've got the time. No, don't put that in. No. So I really do enjoy just sitting down with the client and hearing what is it that they want, and then designing something around that.
Finding what
yes.
they're looking for.
Yes, and then, obviously I have major knowledge gaps, when it comes to the finance technical side, and that's why we have a team.
Same as me.
Yes, so that's why you're part of a team.
Exactly.
And that's how you get the best solution for your client. And that's what we specialize in.
Sounds really good. What have been the key technological milestones you've witnessed in your time, in integration specifically, and how have they changed the way you work now?
So the biggest change for us on the technology side has been from the move from analog to digital.
Yeah.
So in 2013, everybody predicted that by the end of 2013, what was it called? The analog sunset.
Oh, is that what it was called?
Yes.
Jeez.
It was called the analog sunset. And of course, that never really happened.
And how long did it take?
Oh, it's still taking.
It's still happening.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Now,
still happening.
finally, we are sitting with even your corporates, your directors in the company are now finally going, oh, no, we don't want VGA on
We don't
our
want
table.
cables on the table.
We don't want cables on the table, and especially not VGA. So,
Nothing works with VGA anymore.
well, I mean, I bought my laptop is only a couple years old, and it still has a VGA on it, a VGA port.
Jeez.
Um,
You don't even
but
get CD players with your laptops anymore.
nothing like that. So you have to move with the times,
Yeah.
and so that's been the biggest change for us, is seeing the move from analog to digital, and seeing the on the HDMI side, on the AV side, moving from hardwired solutions to IP.
Right.
Switches, using the same protocol that the IT guy is used to using.
Yes.
So there are still major differences. All that's really happened is we're using the switches, we're using the CAT cable, we're using all that, but we still need to integrate it properly.
Right.
It's not up to your IT department in a company to try and integrate that.
Yeah.
We have to still take our expertise, because audio and visual is still an art. Okay, so you still have to get those to work properly.
Yes.
In that environment.
Seamlessly.
Yes, in that environment, and that's where our specialty comes in.
Oh, it sounds great. What has been the most prestigious project that you've won, or throughout your career? What has been the one that stood out the most?
Well, there have been a few. Okay, there have been a lot of
That's
projects. Good. Yes, so we've been involved in a lot, which we're very proud of. But one that stood out, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a corporate who needed a future-proofed solution. So what they had all these little meeting rooms and a call center and command and control center, and it's all on one floor. Sorry, 2 floors.
Nice.
It doesn't really matter, I guess. But they needed to be able to send and receive, first of all, visuals, audio from anywhere to anywhere in the building.
Okay.
So
Quite a
they
mean
also,
ask.
yes, they also wanted to, when we started talking to them, they didn't actually know that they wanted that.
Okay.
But they wanted to be able to, say one day, maybe in an emergency, the CEO needs to announce something from the boardroom.
Right.
They literally have that capacity to do that. So throughout the building, without him having to move anywhere, he can literally do it from there. They also required that all the meeting rooms mustn't be little islands.
Mm-hmm.
And they also wanted to stop this nonsense of the IT department having to run in 20 minutes before every meeting and patch and
The
pull
age-old
and
issue.
push cables out and sit and sweat and trying to get it to work. Literally, that's what they needed, and they just said, just please make it work. And that's when we saw no one was actually implementing AV over IP. I wouldn't say no one, but it was very, very young.
Yeah.
And so we saw an opportunity.
Okay.
We had been investigating AV over IP for some time, and we costed it, and it actually came in favorably compared to your traditional HDMI matrices and having to put extenders everywhere and blah blah biscuit barrel.
Yeah.
The jargon.
Yeah.
And we were able to give them this solution, and it took some doing to make sure to iron out the little bugs.
Yes.
But that's what handover is for, and
Absolutely.
that's what setup is for, and that's what troubleshooting is for. So we took some time and we got it sorted out, and when we did the handover, they were so happy, and literally we have had no comebacks, and it's been almost 3 years.
That's fantastic.
So we're very proud of that
Yes.
installation, and we have got. As a result, we have a very happy client.
Okay.
And they don't have issues. So, and the only time they really contact us is to upgrade anything or to add something.
That's the best client.
Correct. So, and I'm very proud of that.
But that also goes to show that you provided the right solution for their requirements, So, well done on that.
Thank you.
How has COVID-19 affected your business?
Well, I think it took everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
Like, that's with the rest of the country
it's been a
and the
baptism
world.
of fire, actually.
It has. At first, we did not. Obviously, no one knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But because of everything moving online, and the need for audiovisual becoming so big,
Exactly.
it was actually, we were actually able to move through it, and we're still moving through it.
Yeah.
We were able to provide our clients with the solutions that they needed so that they could carry on working be it remotely or
Yes,
you know,
hybrid workspace.
yes, that's the
Absolutely.
name.
The buzzword.
Yes, that's the buzzword now. And now we are able to provide those solutions. You know, because Teams has become the buzzword now.
As well, yes.
And I'm sure Microsoft would love to see this, but it is. Everybody, because it's geared towards the hybrid workspace already.
Yeah.
So we are able to use technology to our advantage to give the employees and the executives and everybody in the workplace the platform that they can still carry on working regardless of what happens.
Absolutely, yes. And bring your own device.
Bring your own device is a massive thing.
It's become a big thing, I think.
Yeah, so why that's become a big thing is because people don't want to touch surfaces anymore. They don't want to be dependent on other
social
people's
distancing.
And they want to be able to walk in with their own device, sit down, and you know, for those who have the budget, they to do it wirelessly, so that they can literally go on their Teams and go, okay, I want to use the camera in the room. I want to use the projection surface, whatever that may be, a TV or a panel or a projector and screen. It all comes and it's available on the person's laptop.
Right.
Okay. Or if they've got an iPad or even from their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some instances.
So everybody's a lot more comfortable with that.
Correct, yeah. So collaboration is the name of the game.
Yes.
And also what we're seeing is that it's so important for people to, even if you're working from home and you have to have these endless online meetings.
Meeting after meeting.
You know, what did they call it in the beginning of COVID was Zoom fatigue.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right.
I remember.
Okay.
We've already moved on from there.
Yes, so it was called Zoom fatigue, and simply because there's no.
It's the screen time.
It's a screen time. That's the first thing,
That's
because
a
it's
big
not
thing.
natural.
Yes.
And it's a flat surface. It's not. There's no 3D.
Yes.
There's no, and you don't feel like you're part of a room. So the job is now to help people to have an experience. Say if you are meeting from home and maybe you're part of a bigger meeting, and maybe the center of that meeting is a 10-seater room, to equip that 10-seater room in such a way that the participants they don't feel like they're staring at someone through a camera.
Yes, the connection.
Yes, you have to design that space properly, and you have to have the technology in place so that first of all people can see properly and people can hear properly.
Absolutely.
And so, because fatigue often happens when in an auditorium setting, we used to call it, or we still call it, listener's fatigue, when the sound system, for instance, is not designed properly, or it's coming from the wrong direction. Because if you're seeing someone stand on a stage, and you are watching them talk, if the audio in that space is not coming from the same place, for instance,
yes,
then and maybe they've got some silly surround system that they should never have put in the first place, and the sound is coming from the back, for instance, then you get a thing called listener's fatigue. So people can't, they look at you, but they're not associating what they're seeing with what they're hearing.
Right.
So they cannot, they get tired, the brain gets tired, and you lose them after a while. So the same principle, I guess, counts.
Yeah.
If you're struggling in an online meeting to hear, that
I think
is the
more
worst
so.
soul-destroying experience.
Because you could do without video, right?
Yes, you
But
can.
if you can't hear someone clearly on the other side, then it's just pointless.
Correct. If you can have a video conference with only audio, but you can't have a video conference without only video.
Correct, yes.
Because we all have to become lip readers.
I don't think that's ever going to turn out well.
No, not at all. So, so that's the challenge all the time.
Sounds good. And you guys, actually, I remember even with our hard lockdown in March last year, you guys worked straight through.
Yes.
It was busy. It was like you hadn't shut down.
Yes, because obviously the Department of Health they realized that they were,
of all people,
they needed to have their rooms in order so that they can have a command control center or room that they can run from.
Yeah.
So we really had to. We literally were running around finding whatever gear we could.
I know.
Oh, you remember? Yes.
I remember it clearly.
Oh, yes.
We need certificates. Oh.
Yes, it was quite something.
It was a challenge, but you did it.
Yes, and we did it, and we literally I was very proud of the team that they were able to get that integrated, and they really worked hard.
Yeah.
And so things just snowballed from there, and we just kept going. It's what else do you do
Yeah.
in a pandemic? You just keep going.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
Jeez.
Nobody knows.
Yes. We've never been there before.
Yeah, exactly.
Or rather, they were there 100 years ago, but all those people
But
are
then,
not there
yeah,
anymore.
Yeah, we can't really
So-
get advice from them at the moment.
Nope. So that's how COVID has been.
So let's take it to some fun questions. If you were an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
I'd be a Labrador dog.
Oh, cute and
Everybody
fluffy.
loves. I'm not sure if I want to be a puppy because you still get spanked when you
Oh,
do your business
but the joy
in
of
the wrong
life.
place.
but can you imagine just running around chewing things and
Oh, I'd love to do that.
being fed?
And the reason why I want to be a Labrador is because everybody loves a Labrador. I don't think I've met one person that doesn't like a Labrador.
Yeah, this is true. Hey?
And they get the best treats, and a Labrador gets to be trained as a guide dog or a special needs
I know
dog.
they're smart as well,
And
hey?
they're smart.
Not just
That's
a
what I
pretty
would be.
face.
Exactly.
Actually, that does remind me of you.
Labrador. What am I hearing?
Not just a pretty face.
Ah, thank you. Okay, all right, I'll take it.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Early bird. So you get up early, get your stuff done, and then you're in
Yes.
bed by like 9, 10.
Yes, especially now that I'm a little bit more mature. you know.
And are you a fan of sports? Do you enjoy watching sports on a Saturday? No,
Never have been. Not the physical type.
right?
No. No,
Not
I
for
think
you.
no. Not at
Okay,
all.
but then what hobbies do you have
My other favorite activity is to go to the bush.
to escape to the bush?
Escape to the bush and to look at animals. We don't get to do that often,
Yeah,
but I think it's very, very, very important now for people to find that time to relax. Because if you don't,
More now than ever.
You will drive yourself nuts
yeah, absolutely.
because of all the nonsense going on.
You know, and even just going to the bush, it's not even that far to go. You
No.
know, so
It's an hour's drive and you're there.
yeah, absolutely, just to get away. I think
And
that's
you don't have to have a
fantastic.
lot of money to do it either.
Yes, exactly.
You just need to get away so you can
Sanity
be with
check.
nature, because that's exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Even if it's just a few days.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Mariann, would you like to share your social handles with us if anybody would like to follow you?
Sure, I'm not into the social scene at all, but I am on Facebook, Mariann Crosswell,
And you're on
and-
LinkedIn.
and LinkedIn, Mariann Crosswell. That's
It has been an absolute treat and pleasure having you here today.
Well,
Thank you
thanks.
so very much for your time, Mariann.
It's a total pleasure, and thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
My pleasure.
Thanks.